Food is the most addictive drug we have. And the reason why food is so addictive is because it's so normal in society to overeat and just to indulge when it comes to excess food consumption. There's so much advertisement, highly processed food available, and nutrition isn't taught to us in school. If you're not in the fitness space, then nutrition isn't something that's really part of your life unless you have someone that is on body game, or you played sports when you were younger. But you're going to get overweight by default because the foods are engineered to be addictive, and you're going to be comfortable with where you are, and you're not gonna go after change. Most people don't go to the gym. Over 60% of the population in the US is overweight. And the reason they're overweight is because you're going to be overweight by default if you don't track your calories and your macros. And like I said, that's not something that's taught to us, and food is so addictive that most people stray away from getting lean because they don't want to stop eating their favorite foods. They're not willing to give up that food to have a better physique. People know all you have to do to get a six-pack or to be in the best shape possible is eat less and move more, but they're not willing to do those things because it's going to challenge their identity, it's going to make them very uncomfortable, and they don't want to give up their love for food. When you become lean, you look at food way differently. Like, you really realize that food is fuel. You're counting how many carbs, the fucking, excuse my language, the protein. You're looking at the fats. Like, you're making sure you optimize your nutrition so that you can maintain being lean or just be in a deficit. But most people aren't thinking like that. When I was overweight, I was extremely unaware of nutrition, and I was eating out of emotion. It's pre-workout and here's push day. But I was eating out of emotion. I was eating addictive food like goldfish, Nerd gummy clusters, combination fried rice from my favorite hibachi spot. And that led to me getting overweight. And the difference between my mindset being lean versus when I was overweight is that I'm more aware. I move more and I eat less. I wasn't moving as much as I should, or even tracking steps when I was overweight. I was extremely unaware. And food is very addictive, and most people are extremely unaware about nutrition, so that makes it easy to get overweight, and it happens by default. After high school or college, you're really not going to move as much, like incorporate much movement in your life as you did before, unless you have a physical labor job. So you're going to have your schedule where most of the time you're going to be sitting down, or you're going to be getting some steps in, and you're constantly consuming. And fat loss, or gaining fat, takes time. That's being in a surplus over months, over years. You look in the mirror and eventually you're like, what happened to me? And it was all those months to years added up of being in a surplus, 300 calories, 400, 500. That adds up significantly, and most Americans don't even realize, and then they end up overweight because they weren't tracking and they weren't aware. And that's the difference between me now. I'm aware and I consistently track. But food is extremely addictive, and most people don't realize how addicted they are to it, and they're not willing to give up food and look at it as fuel, because it really challenges their identity. They're really comfortable, and it makes them just insecure, and they just aren't willing to do what it takes, because everybody knows what they have to do. In other cultures, they ask, why are Americans so overweight? Like, other cultures, it's extremely abnormal to be overweight, but in American culture, you just look at someone and you're like, oh, yeah. You see so many overweight people and you're like, oh, it's nothing. You just talk to them. It's not normal to be overweight. It's disrespectful to yourself, to your future family, to your family, because lean is law. And your body is a physical representation of where you're at mentally. So lean is law, and food is extremely addictive because the dopamine hits and how it's engineered. And that's why most people never get lean, because they're unaware and they're addicted to food, and it's more socially normalized, just kind of like alcohol. Like when you see someone that's overweight, some people don't even look twice at them, but it's not normal to be overweight. And we have a epidemic of overweight people in America because of this. And that's why a majority of Americans are overweight. They're not aware like they should be, and they're not willing to do what it takes to be lean, but everybody wants to be lean. Drop a like on this YouTube video. I'll be getting back to you guys soon, and we're going to talk more body game and why lean is law.